knew everybody wanted to get my opinion on this. I got to give credit to where the credit is due. A lot of this is because of Torian Rain, because Torian Rain got this movement started when he basically called Malika Andrews out for not having the same energy for the white boys that she has for brothers. You know, the leniency and the patience, but she tries to act like she's a feminist, and she's for the fair treatment of black women, which black women are women in sports are not being treated unfairly. You can make the argument that they're getting positions just because they're women and that they may in particularly don't deserve. Now, if they are putting in their work, fine, and they earn their spot, fine. But for her to be 28 and for her to be where she is, you have to scratch your head. There's probably more qualified women and men to do her job than her. So I'm not making it just the man should be doing what she's doing. You know, Doris Burke, she put in the work. So I can't say nothing about her. She put in the work. Uh, no problem with Doris Burke and some of the other people, you know. But in case you guys don't know, in the in-season tournament finale, basically the championship in Las Vegas a few days ago, Malika Andrews was booed, and I mean she was booed very badly. Now you know ESPN, the people in the sound booth tried to they tried to basically try to you know make it look like she wasn't getting booed the way she was. But if you see the live reaction from people that was there, the boos were very loud. So ESPN tried to uh, use noise reduction special effects. They can either make it higher or they can make it lower. They do it at stadiums all the time. It's easy to do, especially if you in a sound booth. You know, because that's why when I do my interviews, when I'm out on the field in these arenas and stuff, I can reduce a lot of, my microphone can reduce a lot of the background noise. That's why sometimes the interviews sound the way they sound, because I have a noise reduction mic. And it actually comes down to how much foam you have on your mic. The more foam you have, the better the sound is. But with that being said, she brought this on herself. And there were also reports that people said that she was crying, after she went off the air saying that, oh my God, these people hate me. And of course, trying to do the sympathy, woe with me. Why do these people hate me? I was just no, you wasn't just doing your job. You went beyond doing your job. You went from doing your job to just basically slandering black men and attacking black men and vilifying black men, bringing up stuff that didn't have. You brought up Joe Mazzulla's history. I think what really turned people off is when she brought up Adrian Payne getting involved in a situation that didn't have nothing to do with him, basically getting involved in a situation where he went over to basically, I don't know, whatever the situation is. The dude said he was intimidated and he acted in self-defense, but the dude is going to stand trial. Basically, he got talked into getting involved in a situation that didn't have nothing to do with him. While she sat up there, enough evidence. And I mean, the man wasn't even in the grave, and she brought that up. Just lost his life. And lost his life basically trying to protect and defend a woman, but she didn't bother to bring that up. They didn't want to tell the whole story of what happened. But then, as people like me did further research and dug deep into the situation, he basically lost his life interfering in a situation that didn't have anything to do with him. And that was unfortunate. But she didn't bring that up. Then she attacks Brandon Miller. And, Stephen A. Smith, he could try to cape all he wants and try to say she was just doing her job, and people were saying lock him up and all this kind of stuff. So she didn't have to address it. They could have addressed it maybe after the ceremony was over. they could have briefly spoke about it, but then they damn near had to twist her arm to get her to talk about Josh Giddey, and then she was, very condescending when she read the story, like she didn't want to read the story, and then basically people called her out. And then people saw obviously what she was trying to do. Now, of course, people gonna say, "Oh, this has nothing to do with race." Well, if you fucking believe that, then just stay off my channel. This has everything to do with race. We all know that the media has this thing with running black men's name through the mud, and they don't have no problem up to the extreme measures that they go to run a black man's name through the mud and vilify a black man if he find himself in a situation. Look, at the end of the day, there's always a such thing as being in the wrong place at the wrong time. No matter how careful and how you proceed with caution on how you live your life, you're going to eventually have something that may happen that's out of the norm. That's just life. It's just based off how you handle it. But the way she went after black men on a regular basis, the way she tried to attack anybody that questioned the situation with Emi Udoka, trying to sit up there and say what we're not going to do is blame this on women and all this kind of stuff. And to a certain degree, ESPN is kind of like, you can make an argument they set her up to set herself up to where she could be put in this situation. Now, of course, ESPN isn't going to do nothing. They're just going to sit back and let the chips fall where they may. And then at the same time, if they get tired of her, they can release her and say, look, the people have spoken. You're not liked very well. The public reception of you is you're this and you that. And then she can sit up and say, but you told me to do this. Oh, they're not going to take responsibility for that. They're going to put this all on her. And and at the end of the day, she had a choice whether to say, nah, I don't want to do this. So at the end of the day, she chose to do it. So it falls on her. She was the only one at the draft that brought that up about Brandon Miller. And her constituents that was working alongside her was looking like, dang, why are you bringing this up? So sometimes you have to ask the question, did she act on her own? Did she tell them she was going to do it? And they said, oh, okay, let's see what happens. And then ESPN is feeling the backlash. Now, eventually, is she going to try to play it's preposterous, and no, I don't go, I'm not singling out black men, and no, I don't have a situation to where I have an issue with black men because my father, that's probably coming next. And from what I've been told, she doesn't even identify herself as black. Okay? Says she doesn't even identify herself as black. So for all you black women that's going to sit up here and try to come on here and accuse us of tearing down a black woman because she's in sports and y'all don't want to see black women prosper or have success, of course we do. Do you hear me talking about Pam Oliver? Do you hear me talk about any of the other black women that's working in sports that identify as black? Absolutely not. But she don't identify as black. So why are you defending somebody that doesn't identify as black? Why are you trying to cling on to somebody that doesn't want you to cling on to them? Okay? So you can save your, why are you trying to come down on a black woman? She don't even consider herself black. For y'all information, she's black looking. Now, another person that's gonna get it is Jamel Hill, who basically said allegedly said that the only reason why people are attacking Malika Andrews because she's dating a white man. I'm gonna be honest with you. I could give two fucks about her dating a white man. Does that possibly play a role in the perception of her, of why people think she goes in and out of her way to basically go after black men and demonize black men? Well, it could be something to it, but that doesn't help the situation by her being involved with a white man. But I don't think that's the pure factor. So for Jemele Hill, another notorious black man hater, no matter how much she tries to deny it, for her to say that, that just shows you where she is and what type of person she is. And it's funny. I feel kind of stupid that I defended her back in the day, but then I always knew Jemele Hill was one of them type of chicks, because just over the years working for ESPN, I always used to see her take shots at black men. Listen, if your father wasn't around and you didn't have a man in your life, or you couldn't keep a man, which I don't know how she could sit up and be married to some dude, and how that dude could sit up and wake up in the morning next to her every day knowing that she has this type of hatred and vitriol, and contempt for black men. And to me, it comes across as a cover-up, that she may be using him to cover up the fact that she has all this hate and contempt for black men. She's shown it over the years. She's taken shots at black men ever since she's been on ESPN. So what? She worked alongside Michael Smith. That doesn't mean nothing. She was paid to work with him. Doesn't mean anything. ESPN put that show together, not them. So there you have it. But people going her, oh well, I don't feel sorry for her. Did she feel sorry for the families where she was attacking them, putting out accusations against them? I don't even think Joe Mazzulla, for what happened to him, the incident in college, I don't even think that he was arrested. He wasn't kicked out of college. It was just an incident. But she made it look like this dude was some kind of pervert. And like I said, Adrian Payne's family can still go after Malika Andrews and ESPN, and they should. Then she has that fake interview with Adam Silver, where she asked him about Josh Giddey, and Adam Silver showed who he really was. So let me get this straight. You can't suspend somebody just off pure accusation, but Ja Morant still hasn't been arrested for anything, but you suspended him for 25 games for basically exercising his Second Amendment rights. On social media. Like I said, if Ja Morant was smart, he could have made a big deal out of the situation. He could have. But this thing, Andrews, like that, she deserved what she got, and she brought it on herself. I don't feel sorry for her. I don't feel sorry for her at all. And why should we? Did she feel bad for his family when she sat up there and brought up that situation that happened to him in college? She don't have no problem going on the air demonizing black men. So as far as her crying about getting booed, so? And then when she gets called out, she runs to the producers, but she talking all bad and tough when it comes to protecting a white woman who basically stepped out on her husband with a black man. But then all of a sudden they want to protect her name and her identity for her being a whore. But yet we know the alleged person with Josh Giddey. But then they want to protect Josh Giddey. They go out of their way, but she don't show that same energy towards him. So at the same time, she just looking stupid. But she wanted this. She wanted it. She wanted it. She thought that she was going to get away with slandering black men's name and their image and their reputation, and just thought it was going to be like, oh, well, but nah, we coming after people like her. You're not going to keep putting these labels on black men. Like I said, shit happens. Now, if you a repeat offender, then it get to the point to where you can't always keep taking up for somebody. But just the way she went after Emi Udoka for basically having an extramarital affair, and keep in mind, he's not married. She was married. Shouldn't she have got all the blame for basically being a whore? And then she gonna sit up there and try to tell Kendrick Perkins and other people when they were just saying, well, why her name get protected? Why is everybody just strictly vilifying Emi Udoka when she cheated on her husband and saying what we're not gonna do is blame women, like the dude forced himself on her? Because first of all, she lucky I ain't on that show. And then the funny thing is, when the heat turns up on her, she runs to the producers, and then of course they send Stephen A. Smith to be the lab, you know what I'm saying, to be the lab rat, the test tube dummy, the guinea pig, to go out there basically try to defend her, and then make himself look even worse by defending somebody that you clearly know was in the wrong, and then trying to justify somebody being in the wrong by trying to explain all these technicalities working in broadcasting. And you don't have, let me explain something to you. I've been in those rooms. You don't have to talk about that kind of stuff unless you choose to. Now, depending on who the producers is, you can have those producers that's insistent that you talk about it. And then you have some that's like, okay, they make suggestions, you say, nah, I don't want to deal with that. But it probably was a little bit of both. ESPN is on notice now. They know what people that work for them are doing, and they're figuring out, they done seen a hard dose of reality that they can't keep getting away with this shit. And we're not going to let them get away with this shit, constantly slandering black men and demonizing black men. Now, if you happen to be non-black or white listening to this video and you want to say you don't think this is about race, you're a liar, and stay the fuck off my channel. You're not going to sit up here and try to preach that propaganda to me and try to and perpetrate that flat out lie. We know it's about race. So you can just stop it. And if you want to do the, well, what about so-and-so? Well, what about this? What about what happened to this dude that happened not to be black? I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck about them. I only care about what's going on with the brothers and sisters in my community that stand to be harmed and that can suffer from this. Like I said, they use Malika Andrews as a henchman. They use Malika Andrews and Stephen A. Smith as henchmen to come after black people. That's what they're there for. But see, the thing is, ESPN starting to see that the influence of people that's on social media is big now, and that we can change the narrative, or we can at least alter the narrative. So now, based off the fact what's been going on, and people been calling Malika Andrews out, and then not to mention it also helped that other people saw what she was doing. You know, the Kwame Browns and you know, Dez Bryant, like, okay, what's up? You don't have the same energy. Yeah, Emi Udoka broke no laws. But here it is, Josh Giddey apparently broke a few laws, a couple of laws, but then the NBA goes out of their way to protect him. And then trying to sit up here and insult people's intelligence as if they're not protected this dude when clearly that they are. So there you have it. But as far as her getting booed, she brought that on herself. I could care less. I could care less if she was sitting up there crying. That's probably how the families of the people whose names she slandered felt when they were seeing their son or their nephew or their cousin or their brother having their name ran across the mud, and seeing ESPN launching these smear campaigns. And it don't matter how many fake, polls or you know what I'm saying, town halls they have on TV where they try to act like they want to talk about this situation and sit up here and don't take accountability and try to make it look like we're delusional and we're just lying. Nah, not gonna work. Not going for it. So try again, as the saying goes. But anyway, appreciate you guys. Just wanted to address this. You know, oh well, Malika Andrews got exactly the same energy that she was dishing out. Now, now she didn't had her wake up moment. Now the question is, what is she gonna do from this point out? I'm out.